Welcome back to the final round. Colleges are scrambling to figure out ways to keep students on campus as outbreaks threaten those plans amid the pandemic. Colgate University unveiled last month a plan to open its campus and to keep it open. So here with more on that, we want to bring in Paul McLoughlin. He's the Vice President and Dean of Colgate University. And Paul, it's great to have you on the show. You started the school year with an unprecedented plan, a mandatory quarantine for all of the students at Colgate. The 2-week quarantine just ended this morning, I believe, at 7 a.m. So just walk us through what the past 2 weeks have been like, both from a student's perspective and also the faculty, and whether or not it was a success or it has been a success.
Thanks, Shauna. Nice to be here. It has been a really long summer, and the last 2 weeks, I think, are the culmination of a lot of planning and a lot of work on the part of faculty, staff, and importantly, students. So as you mentioned, there was a universal quarantine required of all students for the first 14 days. So we had students moving in, parents dropping them off, parents not even permitted in the residence halls. And then students went into quarantine. We delivered all of their meals to them every day, 3 times a day, all of their packages, anything they needed, resulted in an army of sort of faculty and staff helping make this quarantine possible.
Paul, what we have seen with other college campuses is not what happens on campus, what happens off campus. That has been a big challenge. You got college students, inevitably they're going to want to gather in big groups. How do you enforce something like that now that you don't have that quarantine as a tool?
It's a great question, and it's one that we've worked on actually as a part of the plan, not tangential to it, but actually a part of the comprehensive plan that the Task Force on Reopening developed. And we began working with students this summer, student leaders, but also working with off-campus students in particular. Colgate has about 265 students who live in the village of Hamilton, and the rest of our students live on campus. And we worked with them through town halls, made sure that they understood sort of the entire plan. And this is really important, that they adopted the plan as their own. These students want to be here. They want to be here through Thanksgiving. And so having them understand the rationale and the public health sort of pieces behind the plan, I think helped them adopt it. We also did have all students sign a commitment to community health before they came back. That was another part of our plan to make sure that they really understood that their decisions impact other people, and that this semester we are all working together collectively in order to have in-person instruction. So a really important piece that I think we didn't leave to the end, but actually thought about alongside our residential campus population too.
Well, and Paul, obviously, Colgate is unique, and the size of the campus is manageable relative to, some of these other universities that are having issues. And you kind of spoke to it there. I guess I was thinking about this, ahead of our interview, that as an outsider, what I don't like about what I've seen on college campuses is that administrations are leaving holes and then they're blaming the students for filling them. And I guess it sounds like you guys are cognizant of not making it, oh, well, we didn't have a plan, so we're just going to blame the students. But, thanks for the checks anyway.
Yeah, thanks, Miles, for that question. I think that I've read that same sort of line of reasoning, that sort of were administrators, faculty, and staff sort of negligent in their own expectations of students who cognitively between 18 and 22 don't sort of have the same sort of decision-making frontal lobe capacity as older adults who made the plan. I kind of reject that notion. I think that our students are capable of, if they understand the expectations and they understand what is at stake, and I think they do, that they will actually be able to live up to that. We also did, though, make sure that we had a comprehensive plan. So students have been tested before they arrived with an at-home pretest. They were tested upon arrival. They were tested again 7 to 10 days later. We have wastewater testing. Today, we began testing 6% of the population. So there's a strong plan around testing, commitment to community health. Again, they see the faculty and staff working to make this possible. Lots of campuses reopened quickly. We also had decided not to do that. So Shauna asked me about the quarantine ending today. It did at 7:30, but we didn't go from quarantine to back to normal. We went to gate 1. So in sort of spirit of our name, Colgate, we developed a gating system. So we're in gate 1 as of this morning, and gate 1 is still considered limited in-person interaction. Students are still able to socialize, but only in groups of 10. They have to do it with indirect family units or roommates. And so we're still very much in the early identification and isolation of cases. And then going to gate 1 Gate 2 is about 14 days from now, as long as all of the metrics that we've identified, there are 22 in all on our dashboard, as long as those sort of show that we're in a good place, we'll move to Gate 2. I think that too is something different that a lot of campuses didn't do. And I think if our students can understand that, and again, we've spent a lot of time with them making sure that they do, then the incentive is built in.
Paul, real quick, we have about less than a minute left here, but what has the reception been like from students? Because we heard reports, and I think a lot of us know people indirectly, at least, that have maybe deferred their freshman year. They're hesitant to return to campus, or maybe they've been sophomores, juniors, or seniors and making that decision. Have you seen that at all at Colgate?
Sure. We gave it an option. We gave students and faculty an option. Faculty could teach in the classroom or not. Students could decide to teach, or to be in-person instruction or to take it remotely. And we've seen students in both camps. We had about 300 students who are studying remotely this semester. Some of our first-year students did defer for a year. And I think that was that choice that also made the commitment to community health more powerful, because they were then committing to it with sort of choice and not by force.
All right, Paul McLoughlin, Vice President and Dean of Colgate University. Great to have you on the show. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, everyone.